Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Airlock Gateway 8.2 webinar, where we're going to present the new features in Airlock Gateway 8.2. I am Michael Dujak. I'm one of the product managers and I'm responsible for the development of the Anomaly Shield. With me I have Stefan Diertiker. He's the responsible product manager for the Airlock Gateway and also the Micro Gateway. We have quite a few topics that we want to cover, and those topics are the Airlock Anomaly Shield and all the new features that we'll bring with Gateway 8.2. And then Stefan will take over. He will present you some news about policy learning and how to make it a lot easier. He'll look into the future with post-quantum cryptography, and there's also a few miscellaneous features that he'll cover. But let's get started with the Anomaly Shield. We introduced the Anomaly Shield with Gateway 7.5. That's already quite a few years in the past. And we've been expanding and extending the feature set with every release that we've produced in the meantime. And that's the same thing with Airlock Gateway 8.2. What we've added this time is client behavior analysis. Client behavior analysis is targeted towards analyzing on whether there's a user or a bot sitting on this particular client. And the way we do that is by injecting some JavaScript into the client. And this JavaScript will then feed back information to the gateway, to the Anomaly Shield specifically, with information about the behavior that that particular user or bot shows regarding keyboard and mouse. And using that data, we cannot identify different users. We really can only decide on whether the user is a human being or whether the user is a bot. To use this new client behavior analysis feature, we've added a trigger with the model. You see it here on the right-hand side, client behavior. And this is the model that you configure in your trigger rules if you want to detect for botty behavior on the client side. A second feature, or a life improvement feature that we added, is automatic retraining. When we talk to customers that are engaging with the Anomaly Shield, that are deploying it for the first time, one of the questions that often arises is on whether it's necessary to retrain the Anomaly Shield every once in a while. And since we've had that question from many customers, we decided that we want to automate that to make your lives easier. So you really have one button. If you click that, then you can automatically retrain the Anomaly Shield for a particular application. So if you have many applications, then you have to click quite a few times. But if there's only one application or a few, then it's very easy to set up. A decision that you have to take is on whether you're going to trust the Anomaly Shield 100% or maybe it's just 99%. You can decide on whether you want to train only without enforcing the newly trained models, or you can have it automatically do everything for you, retrain, and immediately enforce the newly trained models at the same time. We do retraining automatically in the background every 3 months. 3 months from our test results is a very good time period to look at and to decide which data we're going to use for the retraining. And it's not often enough to actually have an impact on your production, but it's often enough to make sure that you always get good models. Now, to get the best models possible, we're using a sequence of 35 days with the least number of attacks. What does that do? 35 days means we cover an entire month, or at least 1 month. We cover 5 weekends, 5 Mondays. So whatever behavior users are showing on your applications, we have it in there. And least number of attacks means it's the traffic where we expect to get the most aggressive models, those models that will detect anomalies very quickly, very easily. So they will improve the model training for you. And I would recommend that you use the feature, you enable it, train and enforce, because searching for 35 days with the least number of attacks is very difficult for a human to do, but the Anomaly Shield, he can do it automatically. And the results that we've seen with customers and test data are very encouraging, and this is a feature that you definitely want to turn on. Another life improvement that we've made is we've cleaned up our models. We reduced the normal models from 7 to 5, meaning the added model for the client behavior is already in there, so it really is has gotten more easy to configure the anomaly shield correctly. We've also removed the suspicious triggers and rules. We found that they normally create more work than they're worth. The malicious triggers and rules, we recommend that you turn those on and take advantage of the capabilities they show. There is very few false positives with these rules, and that's exactly the kind of behavior that we get positive feedback from our customers. A third thing that we did with the model cleanup, that we actually now deliver a default configuration for out-of-the-box installation. So if you have a new installation that you want to do, you don't need to manually configure triggers and rules. They're already included, and you can just enable them and you're all set. The only thing you still need to do is decide which mappings that you're going to configure on which applications. All the rest is pre-configured and can just be picked from the drop-down menu, and you're all set. So the only question that remains is, how do you actually get from a Gateway 8.1 to 8.2 with the Anomaly Shield? Because the upgrade this time, unfortunately, is a little bit more complicated. With the new models and the changes that we've done to the models, the improvements we've made, models need to be retrained again. Now, retraining the models is not really an issue because all the data that you've collected with 8.1 is still valid and viable, so you can just start the retraining once you're done with the normal upgrade. The exception to the rule is, of course, the client behavior, because client behavior model is new, so it has no data, so it needs the 35 days before you should train it. But during this time, the client behavior is just shown as incomplete. All the other models continue to work as expected. So you really, on the first day, you can start the retraining, and 35 days later, you have to do a little bit of work, one more retraining, and client behavior will work as well. So these are the news that I have for you from the Anomaly Shield. And now Stefan has quite a few more things that he would like to talk about.
Thank you, Mike. One of the daily challenges in operations of Gateway is handling of false positives and distinguish them from the true positives. To manage these false positives, Airlock Gateway comes with the policy learning feature. In Gateway 8.2, we extended the policy learning tool with additional filters to simplify even further the integration task. We introduced 3 new filters in policy learning to distinguish false positives from true positives. This helps to reduce the number of shown blocks to a smaller list, which needs to be investigated. The first of these filters is authenticated sessions only. In our research, we had no true positives in production environments when we filtered for authenticated sessions only. Bots are filtered out since they are not authenticated. Blocks shown have a high chance that they are a false positive. The second filter introduced in this release is MOX attack types per IP. In case of false positives, a normal user usually triggers only 1 to 3 different attack types during its session. Therefore, having a higher number than that indicates something fishy. With the max attack type per IP, those fishy requests are filtered out. Blocks shown have a high chance that they are a false positive. The last of these 3 new filters is source country. The Kibana dashboard allows easily to see from which country my users are accessing from. With that in mind, the filter source country allows to filter out all blocks which are not from the certain country. Therefore, many bots which have a different source country are filtered out. Blocks shown have a high chance that they are false positives. Most likely, blocks shown after applying one of these filters are false positives, and an exception should be configured. Like all filters, they can be combined with the other existing filters as well. To enrich the policy learning functionality, we also added the new filters header name and header value. Administrators can use it to filter for certain headers and create exceptions for false positives. Current algorithms like RSA or elliptic curves are known to be vulnerable if they are attacked using quantum computers. Since more than 10 years, this is a research topic, and we as Airlock are observing the development in this field carefully. This is why we know that large players already started the support of post-quantum cryptography. Chrome and Firefox have added support for post-quantum cryptography. In their latest versions, they make it possible to use post-quantum cryptography safe algorithms to initiate TLS sessions. NIST announced a 2024 timeline for first standardized post-quantum cryptography algorithms. So, post-quantum cryptography is something which gets more and more attention. This is why we started an initiative. With some selected customers, we are doing proof of concepts to gain more insights about post-quantum cryptography in customer environments. If you want to join our research program, please reach out to Reto Ishii. The Airlock Gateway image we are using for this POC is based on version 8.1, which contains libOQS from the Open Post-Quantum Safe project. Please keep in mind that libOQS is not yet intended for productive use. Our internal tests have shown that the POC can be run with existing hardware. Since many years, we are running a bug bounty program on HackerOne, where hackers from around the globe can attack web applications and APIs through Airlock Gateway. They report their findings, which helped us to improve the deny rules and filters. Besides the already mentioned improvements, the new release has also some more new features. HSM solutions are used to store private keys securely on an external device. We already made some improvements in Gateway 8.1 around HSM integration. In Gateway 8.2, we updated the support for Luna Network HSM 7. This means Gateway 8.2 supports Thales Luna Network HSM 7. Please keep in mind that older hardware models are no longer supported. And in addition, Entrust and Cypher Connect is also supported. OpenAPI spec enforcement helps to validate requests and responses against a specification file. Our OpenAPI spec enforcement feature supports now requests of type form URL encoded. It is also possible to specify some additional property flags such as min, max, or required properties and combinators like all of, any of, one of, and not. Administrators wanted to terminate sessions and don't wait until the session is idled out. We made the functionality Session Terminate available to administrators. They can now terminate sessions either through Configuration Center or by using the REST API. I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I hope that you enjoyed the new release, and I say goodbye.